Hello, everybody. Hellcrex here, and welcome to another Mercenary Thoughts from the Inner Sphere, episode, 344? Yeah, 344. All right, today we're going to be talking about the Heavy LRM Carrier. You don't see this thing very often. To be honest, I may have seen one of these once, but most of the time I usually just see the standard LRM Carrier versus the heavy one. So I guess that's probably why. Maybe a few games they were playing it on the other side of the table or something, and they had some heavies. But I just seen it's an LRM carrier because they're using probably I think the standard LRM carrier is the maybe proxy. I don't know. So you don't see this thing very often. Well, the heavy LRM carrier is a 80-ton 2.3. So it's basically with internal combustion engine, the same thing as the standard LRM carrier. Slow, just kind of crawls along, sets itself up, and fires a barrage after barrage until somebody comes up and kicks it in the side and ends its day. Pretty much. And, alright, so it does have 4 tons of armor for 64 points, so yeah. Basically, I think it's 16 on the front there, or 14. 14 on the front. Wow. It's like one shot from a Gauss rifle or a clan PPC, and it's already into the juicy innards. And if you can fire the LRMs, you're in range of PPCs. So yeah, it's like typically it's like you see an LRM carrier, it's parked there, and it's like, got a great fire solution at long range. I'm gonna take a couple shots at it, especially if you have standard PPCs. You could probably kill this thing right out the bat and end his day. So that's a lot of times what happens. So pretty much, it's like if I see an LRM carrier and SRM carrier pop its head up, it's like kill it, end its day. Especially SRM carrier, you shoot that thing at a distance outside of its envelope of fire, and then it's like, why did you bring this thing out so soon? Die. All right, so weapons. Well, it has 4 LRM-20s in the turret, and it has 6 tons of ammo, or is that 8 tons? I think it's 8 tons of ammo in the hull. So it gets the job done. So, 8 tons. So the life expectancy, it's like so-so. So yeah, you're looking at got a lot of firepower for the number of turns it can shoot down range. So yeah, it spends 12 turns throwing weapons and lots of missiles. But no, I've never seen an LRM carrier and SRM carrier typically last more than a couple turns, unless there's something out front that is causing more havoc and that's drawing more attention. So, like in our last campaign we've been playing, trying to get to them is like, okay, yeah, they're in range, but like right in front of us is some nasty little vehicles that are causing havoc. So they seem to take the precedence over what's parked way down range. So yeah, that's a lot of times what happens. But if you have an opportunity, kill them because they die pretty quickly. So yeah, with just only 4 tons of armor, yeah, it's like a couple good hits and these things are done. They're done dinner. All right, so pretty much how do you use these things? Well, it's not fast by any means. A 2-3 means it's pretty much going to park itself, and that 3 movement is going to be about to get on the road. And it's like I'm going to fire, and then it's not something that's going to be displacing to a new battle position anytime soon. Literally, you put them in a fixed position someplace. If you could get them in a hull down, especially with turrets, yeah, then they'll probably live a lot longer. Because the only thing you can hit, it's like on a 10, 11, or 12, you're only hitting the turret when you shoot at them, especially if they got them on a hill someplace in a hull down position. You'll improve like a vehicle battle position. That's what you're talking about here. So yeah, you got to be higher than them to shoot down to the hole to negate that battle position. And if they're on the highest ground around, Well, they just negated that problem. So they, most of the time, everything's going to be hitting the dirt. So typically, what will kill them in the front really quick takes longer, because then, heck, you are stretching out that time zone pretty long. You know, it's like, hey, you can only hit me on a 10, 11, or 12 in the turret. You can hit, but you got to hit the turret. So how many times is that going to happen in a typical game? But still, it's only got 14 tons of, or 14 points of armor on the turret. So a couple good hits from like a PPC or something of that nature, yeah, then yeah, you're killing it. But you got to do it. That's the question. All right. So that kind of shows you what you have to do. So if you got a heavy wooded area, move them up into the heavy wooded area and park it there, because at the best you're going to get is a 2 mod. And even a heavy LRM carrier in the open, traveling in a straight line, the best mod they're going to get is a 1. So park them and just fire away until they die. With the battle value that they have on these things, it's not that high. It's what, 900, I think? 950. I think it's 950. Let me double check here. I think it was 950. Yeah, 948. There you go. So they're not overly expensive. They can throw a lot of firepower downrange. So there you go. Now, there is a few other variants with this thing, which all have the same problem, capabilities. So, yeah, you put them in a place where you're going to be parking them and forgetting that you ever forget about moving them again. Unless, what's a nice thing, you have a turret, so you can rotate that turret around to hit the targets you need to in your bubble. So if you have 4 of these, like a lance of them, you got your overlapping bubbles with each other. So you have that going for you. Now, the only problem is the minimum range. If you get something within the minimum range, then they're probably not going to hit the broadside of a barn, which is why you have overlapping fire. So if one of them's got to fire at minimum ranges, the other ones can focus on that same target that's bothering your one LRM carrier and throw a lot of missiles at it. And let me tell you, with something that has 4 LRM-20s in the last game we've been playing, they only had the standard LRM carriers, which have 3. Yeah, oh boy. It's like there have been times we were watching one mech lose all of its armor and its internal just from the LRM carriers alone, just tearing up to pieces. That's why they had to try to kill those things, but you got to get to them. All right. So there's a few other versions of this. Okay. We got the Heavy MML Carrier. All right. So we get rid of the 4 LRM-20s and replace it with 6. Yes, you heard this. 6 MML 9 launchers with 4 tons of ammunition. So both types, which you got your long range and then you have your short range. So if something does get in close, you can splatter them all over the place with those 9 or the 6 launchers. So yeah, you can do a lot of damage to somebody up close too. So yeah, maybe throw 1 ton of SRM ammo, and then the other 3 be your extended range. So there. You know, you're hitting stuff way down range, and then when they try to get in close, and you hammer away with the short range stuff. So that's kind of what I call a balanced vehicle. Now the battle value comes in a lot cheaper, so this is $720. So yeah, you just knocked off a bunch of points, and you can carry out of if you took a lance of these, you could almost afford another one. So yeah. So just a few more points, you could have 5 of those things, or just throw another, like a light mech or something on the board, or another vehicle of some type as a bodyguard. Probably go with a bodyguard type vehicle. Then you have the Heavy LRM Carrier, which is the improved version. It has hardened armor, has a fuel cell, 4 tons of ammunition for enhanced LRM-15. So this comes in at almost 12 and a half, 1,250 battle value. Yeah, it's a little more expensive. And to be honest, I have never seen enhanced LRMs on the table because they don't really see on any mech or anything of that nature until what, 3080s plus. And almost every single campaign I ever played have never made it to 3080. It's hard to say. I can't really tell you other than with the enhanced LRMs are cut down on the minimum range. Was it the 3? Or cut that in half. I think that's what it does. But more expensive. So, there you go. Personally, I'd rather take the MML carrier over the improved enhanced version carrier with the 15s. Yeah, just saying. It's cheap. The other one's cheaper. Okay, then we have some custom variants that they always like to talk about. Let's see, you have the one with hardened armor. Comes in at about 1,050 battle value. It also has the a pair of extended range LRM 15s instead of the enhanced LRM 15s. Okay, so there. Now you really got some long range firepower with it. But are you gaining anything more than what you have on the MML? That's a hard thing to go with. Is that something you want to play around with? Give it a shot. Proxy something and then just play with it. And then there's one there at the Heavy LRM Carrier, the Roger Goddard version that has a sealed environmental encase on board. So going into those vacuum style environments where you need something to seal it up against the environment. So it's like something showing up and say, hey, that's not supposed to be here. How'd that get here? Well, congratulations. We have a kind of experimental version of this vehicle. But overall, the Heavy LRM Carrier might be something, if we ever get to the point later in the game, where I might consider throwing one of these on the board. Now, one thing that did pop in my head was I looking at this, why not just take the standard LRM Carrier, the Heavy, and replace the 4 LRM 20s with 16? Yes, you heard this. 16 with what, 10 tons of ammunition to go with it. And then you put a fusion engine on it, some extra heavy armor, and a couple ER medium lasers. It's like, I was playing around. I'm like, hey, that works. And it comes in at about 1,200 battle value. And it's like, that might be interesting. We're going to fill the skies with a large barrage of LRM-5s. What people don't realize that on LRM-20 and 4 LRM-5s, the damage output's the same. You just have more rolls that you have to go through. And it ends up becoming more of a crit hunting style. And if you throw an extra 2 tons of ammunition on board for specialty ammo, you can throw some smoke or something of that nature. It's like, we're going to throw it in there just for empty the bays real quick and just lay down a heavy barrage of smoke someplace. Like, well, we're just going to smoke this area and call it good for a while. It was like block those guys out from hitting us while we're closed in, which might be a great opportunity for, thought, give it a shot. Hey, what can you do? All right, so that is the Heavy LRM Carrier. Hey, give it a play. See how it works for you. All right, this is Hellcrex. Hellcrex out.